There's a period in the Universal Century Gundam timeline that has been explored time and again, with different perspectives, viewpoints and stories, all of which feeding into each other to develop into something larger. The 1 Year War, a conflict between the Earth Federation and the Principality of Zeon, the government of Space Colony Side 3 fighting for independence. The 1 Year War is the most important event within the Universal Century timeline, and other series within this universe either exist within the lead-up or the aftershocks of this event. However, what's unique about Gundam Thunderbolt's side of this battle is that it was entirely isolated, wholly desperate, and as the stakes are raised, absolutely not worth it. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt is a 4-part ONA series based on a manga by Yasuo Otagaki for publication in Big Comic Superior. The anime was produced at Sunrise Studio 1 and directed by Ko Matsuo, known for his work directing the first Berserk film, Valvrave the Liberator, and Red Garden. But without further ado, I present the anime review of Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, having nothing to do with either the Thunderbirds or the superhero team led by Baron Zemo, Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt is an hour-long series portraying one of the most desperate battles in Gundam history. Fighting amongst the wreckage of a space colony, these mechs are armoured up to withstand the damage from debris, and there's a constant arms race between the two forces to be able to gain the upper hand. In an attempt by the Earth Federation to disrupt Zeon's supply lines as the 1 Year War approaches its end, Zeon forces are deployed to defend them. We can argue over how important this battle really was, but as it progressed, I think we can all agree that this was far from the best case scenario for either side. Thunderbolt's portrayal of war is much darker than many of the other iterations of the series within the Universal Century. Whilst the original series is essentially about a bunch of war orphans going on a murder fest across space and Earth, the way it was presented is much more upbeat, focusing on the specific individual character arcs rather than the facts that kids are operating prototype level military equipment. And that's kind of to be expected when we're seeing the world from their perspective, but with Thunderbolt featuring adult protagonists, it really takes the opportunity to show how horrifying the 1 Year War was and the decisions they thought they had to make. Or rather, in the case of protagonist E.O. Fleming, the decisions that he wanted to make. It's not rare to see characters who find the thrill in battle, but it's something unique when our character is the only one that actually wants to be there. The members of the battle over the Thunderbolt Sector have all deluded themselves into thinking that they're fighting an inevitable war, and that each and every shot they fire is one shot for an important cause. And nobody deludes themselves more than the captains of each ship. One entirely inexperienced, unable to keep her soldiers alive, and the other who will stop at nothing to succeed in the task placed before him. Primarily centred around the relationship between E.O. Fleming and a Zeon amputee known as Daryl Lorenz, the story hits its peak when E.O. is chosen to pilot a prototype mobile suit known as the Full Armor Gundam, and those that have been following the franchise for a while will know the importance of that third word. The reason the 1 Year War was won in the first place was due to an experimental Gundam piloted by Amuro Ray, so basically, fear the Gundam. The fear of the Gundam is something that's paralleled by almost every series within the franchise. It's not just a powerful mobile suit, it's the power to turn the tides of any conflict, any battle, and any war. Imagine if you went back to the Middle Ages and you gave someone a gun. Not only would that soldier be able to win the battle for his country, but the defeated force would fear him. They'd be terrified of his appearance in the field of battle, and they'd stop at nothing to defeat him. And that's exactly what happens in Gundam Thunderbolt, save the time-travelling gun merchant. Driven by madness over his loss, E.O. Fleming is entirely aware of who and what he has become. Playing jazz to cover the screams of his enemies, he becomes enthralled with his place as a villain of the war. He revels in the hatred of the Zeon troops, and through every battle, more and more of them turn towards revenge. Remember, these are people that have deluded themselves into believing this is not only a battle that has to be fought, but one that has to be won, and without a direct reward other than, we've successfully defended a trade route. The primary motivation for so much of this becomes revenge, and the show is eager to put us in their shoes whenever possible. There's a brilliant first-person shot just as the full armor Gundam is revealed, showing a regular soldier's perspective of the suit that's about to kill him, and the panic in those last few moments is so powerful, and the animation is stunning. We often label Sunrise as a singular studio, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Composed of about 14 different sub-studios, shows are divided up between them. For example, Cross Ange and Valvrave the Liberator were produced at Sunrise's Nerima studio, whilst Love Live and Accel World were produced at Sunrise Studio 8. But anyways, in relation to Gundam, we're talking about Studio 1 and Studio 3, who work with a load of really talented mechanical animators. And 2D mecha animation isn't easy, and whilst we often revile 3D mecha, we really forget to give appreciation when animators are able to develop these complex and detailed machines into something alive, and it's why a lot of mechanical animators stick to mecha animation, because it's a unique skill. And it's a skill that can't be ignored in a watch of Gundam Thunderbolt. With a compelling narrative that exists within a bubble, and characters who forfeit the titles of good and bad in the name of madness, you will not find a better way to spend an hour than in the Thunderbolt Sector. The series was available to watch for a limited release online, but will be released by Madman Entertainment on July 2nd. The link to pre-order that is in the description. Thanks for watching the Canipa Effect, and let me know your thoughts on Thunderbolt in the comment section below.